Hey guys, welcome to another lesson. Today we're going to go through some scales in D major, and it's going to be continuing on this approach. I've done one in E, I've done one in A, and just sort of taking something that's more familiar, like a D major scale, and just seeing how do other jazz scales or alternative scales, modes, melodic minors, how do these relate and fit in with a straight major scale? Alright, so the D major scale contains D, E, F sharp, the major third, G, A, B, C sharp, the major 7, and the octave D. So the little lick at the start, I'm in drop D just to get the low drone ringing out, but you don't have to be in drop D. So the lick at the start is something like first 4 notes of the major scale, and then so that's ascending, and then coming back down, descending, it's like little hammer and pull off. There's a couple of variations there, I think, as well. Same notes. Alright. So that's the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No alterations, so they're all majors and perfect fourths. So to turn a D major scale into a D Lydian mode, I've indicated that with the orange in what you change. So you change the fourth. Lydian always means sharp 4. There's other versions of Lydian, but Lydian refers to the fourth and sharpening it. So that would be like sharpening that G. So anywhere in the scale that you see a G, we need to raise it by a semitone. There's one there. There's one there. So if you're doing your D major chord, your normal fourth is there with the pinky. Raised fourth would be here. And then there's your fifth. It's a really nice sound. You hear that in rock songs a lot, especially that more Steve Vai kind of, like, he loves that scale. And he also loves this one. So a Lydian Dominant, I've written Dom for short just to fit it in, is the same thing, but now we're flattening the 7th. So that's what kind of dominant means. Dominant is a major sound, but with a flattened 7th. So that's, if you're doing your chords again, that's D. D7 is this one. Instead of a D there, we put a C there. So a D7 with like a raised fourth or a sharp 11. 11, when you see 11s and 13s, it's like, it just means an octave higher. So it's like you take the sharp 4 and you add another 8 notes, go through the octave, it becomes a sharp 11. So they mean basically the same thing. It's a bit of an ugly voicing, but you get the idea. That one's kind of nicer. Or like this kind of thing. That Simpsons-y thing. Anyway, so that's a dominant with a sharpened fourth. So if we took that sort of lick from, as you come back down, so instead of the C sharp there in the descent, you would see natural here. So that's a Lydian dominant. So if we take away the G sharp, we get just a regular dominant, which is called Mixolydian. So that's just like the straight chord scale of a D7 chord. So it's taking that G sharp, putting it back to a G natural. Sorry. So this is sort of like half of the start. First like the opening of a major. It starts off like a major, but it ends like a minor. It ends with a minor 7. So Mixolydian is always the 5th mode. So what's D the 5 of? Of G. So if we go G, G, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So D Mixolydian is the 5th mode. So usually the 5 chord of G major. So usually that's where it's going to land is G. Alright, now you can see in the next lot they've all switched to Fs except for the last one. So the third now, these are going to be minor modes. This is where we're changing the quality of the chord from major to minor. It's got that sadder sort of quality to it. So a Dorian mode is like a minor, but it has a natural 7 and it has a natural 6. I've written that in the wrong color for whatever reason, because my brain doesn't always work properly. What it should say is, I think that's right. Yeah, so well, I was comparing it to the major, right? Okay, so a Dorian is like a major scale, but with a flattened 3rd and with a flattened 7th. So the 6 actually stays the same. It is a major 6. All this stuff just jumbles up sometimes and just becomes a bunch of weird symbols that don't make sense. So we start off with the minor, so we need to lower our F sharp to an F. There's the F. And then the top you can do the same as the Mixolydian because it's the same notes. That's the Dorian. So the Dorian chord would be like a D minor 6 chord, which is a really nice chord. So it's a minor D minor chord, but it's got the major 6 at the top. It's kind of cool. It's that Uptown Funk sort of a thing. Sort of like implying G7. That's a D minor 6 sound. Alright, melodic minor, very similar. You can see what's different is C sharp. So that's the one that kind of should be in the red if we're being picky about it. So it's back to being a major 7. So it's got almost all the same notes as a major scale, just a minor 3rd. So minor 3rd. That one. And then a major descending. Let's just break down the scale. Now this funky one, that should be in red too, I'm not going to bother. A harmonic minor, same thing again, but we're going to flatten the 6. So that gives you that nice harmonic minor jump. So that big stretch there. Stretch from B flat to C sharp. It's a really nice one. Alright, what's next? Natural minor. So that's another word for that. It's the Aeolian scale, the minor scale. D natural minor is the same as F major. So if you're in the key of F, D is the 6th chord. F. So it's exactly like what we just did with harmonic, but instead of C sharp and that jump, we don't have that jump anymore. We just, because normal scales have just tones and semitones, right? 2 frets or 1 fret. Harmonic minor is a weird one that it has a 3 fret. Okay. So that's natural minor. Phrygian. Anytime you see the word Phrygian, what it usually refers to is having a flattened second. So it starts off, sorry I'm blocking it, it starts off with a semitone. It's like Jaws. It's like Killing in the Name. So Phrygian means to start with a semitone, and then the rest is pretty straight minor. Now if we borrow from a harmonic minor scale, we end up with something called a Phrygian Dominant. So remembering that dominant means flat 7 and major 3rd. Dominant is a major sound with a flat 7. So we're sort of squashing two things together. A Phrygian start, but a dominant finish, if you want to call it that. Sorry, that should have been flat 7. So basically what we're doing is G harmonic minor. G harmonic minor, but over the D sound. Alright, I hope some of that made sense to you. I hope it makes sense to me. See you next time.